What's going on, YouTube? How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing great. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for all the love on my recent videos. Thank you for all the new subscribers. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for continuing to help my channel grow and grow quickly. I love it. You guys are awesome, and you guys are the best. So I really appreciate it. It means the world to me. Now, guys, listen. I got a good one here for you. I got 3 TVs in a row that I'm really excited about. My 3 favorite TVs at that. So just keep in mind, I purchased these TVs with my own money. I am not a sponsor for any of these brands. I have no loyalty for any of these brands. I buy them, and I buy them for my own personal gain and my own personal usage. Now, with that being said, I want to explain which TVs are what and which TVs are which. So all the way to the left, you got the LG 83-inch G2 of last year. In the middle, you got the 77-inch G3. And all the way to the right, you got the 77-inch Samsung S95C. All OLEDs and all different OLED technologies. So what I want to speak about, guys, is just preference, things like that. When I say these are all 3 of my favorite TVs, you guys are probably all saying, well, you can really only have one favorite TV. And for the most part, I get what you're saying, but it's too hard for me to just choose one. I can't. I just simply cannot. There's different reasons why I like one over the other, and they're all equal as far as canceling each other out to say which one's my #1 overall favorite TV. But if you forced me to choose, I would have to, if I had to choose one at this moment right now, I cannot exactly say whether it's one or the other. It's just really difficult, but I mostly do lean towards the LG G3 just because I love the menu system it has. The operating system is really nice. The way you can fine tune and customize colors, the way the motion processing, the overall processing is on the TV. I just think for the money, it truly feels like a real, true, wholeheartedly premium, top tier TV to me. It just feels like it all the way around. Of course, no TV is perfect, and we all know that. And some TVs have advantages over the other, but overall, I do feel for your money, the G3 is definitely there, guys. And believe me when I tell you, if I thought the Samsung, the S95C was worth, or had that value where you absolutely had to choose one, I would say that, if you know what I mean. So if you're talking strictly between the G3 and the S95C, and I was forced to make a decision, I would just have to go for the LG G3 because of the usability. Just a lot of reasons that processing is just untouchable. It really is. You can't beat that processing in the G3. It is the most smooth TV I've ever seen in my entire life. More smooth than the A95K that I used to have too. So, I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash for that about the Sony A95K. I just feel like ever since they came out with that cognitive processor, things kind of went a little sideways for them, and I think they just have to really kind of work on that to make it better. So with that being said, I'm going to show you this demo. I'm going to talk about it a little bit, let you guys know what I see. I'm only going to keep this very simple, guys. I'm going to keep this this version, this video, and I'm going to keep my settings all in standard mode, and with just your basic settings. I'm not trying to switch any you know, AI picture on or anything like that. This is just the way that I personally like the TVs. And I just want to show you guys what I see. So let's get it going. So let me just first, sorry, I had the volume up. I think I need to kind of turn that down and go from there. For copyright purposes, I don't even know if you can get called for copywriting with these demos, but all right, so guys, I'm just gonna stop this right here. I want to get into it. Yellows, guys. The yellows in the G3 are phenomenal. You can look right now at all three of them when it comes to it. The thing that I notice about the G3 is that in the yellows, when it comes to like how it breaks down the different layers of yellow, like this is why I stopped it at this video right here. It breaks down the different colors of in different layers a lot better. So one can say, well, you know, that's because the S95C has better specular highlights. But this is the type of picture right here that is not supposed to capitalize off of great specular highlights. This is this particular picture or scene right here that you're looking at is designed and created so you can see detail as best as possible to show off your TV's detail in HDR 4K. So when you're looking at this right now, although the S95C all the way to the right has a brighter highlight in that portion of the yellow right there, that kind of, you know, layer right before the dark bottom layer of the yellowish orange, you're going to notice it's more bright there, and you're going to notice that the G3 just has more detail there. And this is what I'm trying to tell you guys, is when it comes to the G3, yeah, although it might not be brighter in some picture modes versus the S95C, and although it might not have color volume, especially in certain colors like red and green, which the S95C is unbeatable in those particular colors. You really can't even touch it. The G3 will counter that with detail, still being extremely bright, and just better picture processing. Just feels more premium when you're looking at the TV. It just adds more detail to it. And the detail levels within the settings that you can get to in the G3, you cannot do in the S95C. You just can't. You can compare it all you want. You can go through the settings all you want, guys. You're going to notice yourself it's not going to happen. But anyways, look all the way to the left in the G2. You're going to notice it's darker, but the detail, which is crazy because this is another perfect example. Is a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, when the picture is brighter, you start ending up losing detail. So this is why I brought all three TVs out at the same time. So you're going to notice that although the G3 in the middle is brighter than the G2 on the left, it still has more detail than the G2. So I just want to point that out right there. So not only does it have more detail, but it's the best happy medium out of all of them because it still has some specular highlights in there. Not overkill, but it's still enough to show you some specular highlights within that picture, and it still will show more detail than both the other TVs on the right and all the way to the left. So just want to point that out right there, guys. So that's why I wanted to stop this scene. And again, we are really just talking about yellow colors right now. When it comes to other colors, that may not be the same story, just to let you guys know. And you're going to see over here, cute picture. All right, so this is another perfect example. And by the way, guys, when you see more of that pink, like kind of tint over the S95C, just please try to do your best to ignore that, guys. I honestly, it does not look like that in person. It's just, for some reason, no matter how much you try to change that in through the camera, you cannot. It's just not happening. So right off the rip right here, guys, you can tell again that we are in standard mode for all three of them, that you get a little bit of a brighter picture all the way to the right. And as you can see, when you do that, the orange, like the orange in that cat's costume, definitely looks more vibrant versus the rest of the two TVs. As a matter of fact, the G2 just looks too dark when you compare it to these two. It's not even coming that close. And just to let you guys know, the brightness on all three of these TVs is all the way up. So, you know, that's another thing. As far as the detail goes, there is more detail again in the G3. You can see the hairs more on her face, like the shadow part on the face a lot better. You can see the details in the cat's eyes a lot better in the G3. But one could argue and say on the S95C, they like the way the overall picture looks because the cat's face is brighter and the costume is brighter. But, you know, when you start to really dig in, I personally like the way that the detail looks better on the G3. This is going to be more of a personal preference thing for you guys. So, you know, on to the next one. So we're going to go ahead and let this go. All right, this is a good one right here. So I'm going to stop it. Let's get into this right here because there's just multiple colors. I'm just going to let you guys know right now. I really like the way the G2 is looking right now when it comes to the picture right here. It has a lot of 3D pop. The G3 also in the middle has a lot of 3D pop. But I gotta say, the darker tones sometimes, like in the G2, the darker colors can make a picture actually look better. And this is a perfect example of that. So I'm just letting you guys know right now that the color tone on the LG and the G2 is about 51, around there. I can bring it down maybe to like 45, 48 in that area right there. If I really wanted to, it depends on what I'm watching. But I figure around 51 for this demo is good because it's going to have some bright colors and I don't want to oversaturate. And on the Samsung S95C, I believe the picture is about anywhere between 22 and 25, which is about average, about the same, you know, right there in the middle as, you know, the color level goes all the way up to 50 tops on the S95C. So I'm trying to keep them somewhere around the same, but as you can see, definitely a lot more color volume on the S95C. It looks fantastic. You really, you know, it's got that perfect black level. And it does look great, guys. It really, really does. So this is when the S95C just truly shines for all the people who like color vibrancy, color volume, and that color pop. When you're watching certain movies, especially, you know, movies with high CGI, things like that, and a lot of colors, you're gonna really probably gear towards more of something like the S95C. It just goes crazy with the colors, guys. There's no way around it. I mean, look at the green that vertically goes from the top of her lips down to her chin. Just the way it's just glowing right there just looks amazing. Look at the way the paint, when, like, as her eyes are closed, that blue area right there, it just looks phenomenal. I mean, it's just popping and glowing like like one of those night lights or something like that. But anyways, in the one thing I gotta say though is when you look at all three of them, in the middle, the G3 just has this 3D look to it that you just can't touch. It's hard to explain, guys, but it literally is. It looks like you can touch what you're looking at in the screen. Like you can touch the face. That's how good that picture looks. And on the G2, obviously, it looks really, really good because, you know, again, the colors are toned down, and it just has a little bit of that immersion to it because of the TV size. And it definitely has some 3D pop to it too. So that's something that LG specializes in. That's something that, you know, that's their little secret sauce that I don't think any other competitor can figure out how LG does it, because no other competitor has actually been able to accomplish that 3D look. I know a lot of people say it's the tone mapping. I know a lot of people say it's just the algorithm in their contrast and things like that. But whatever it is, it doesn't matter. LG has a way to do it that nobody else can do. So, you know, that's to me, that's one of their signature moves right there, and I love them for that. So it just definitely brings it to a whole other level of immersion and a whole other level of appreciation when it comes to watching these things here. I'm not going to keep this too long. I'm going to go a little bit further. As we all know, this is all about the reds, so, you know, I already know you guys can see that the red on the S95C looks great. And then here we go, back to the yellows, guys. So I'm going to stop it right here really quick. Now, I will give Samsung props on this one. The yellow looks phenomenal. If it looks a little more orange on your end through the camera, guys, please excuse that. It looks like a true yellow, just like the G3 and the G2 look. I would say that actually in this particular scene right here, the yellow in the S95C is killing it. It's not even able to be touched between these three. So I'm loving the way it looks. Gonna let this keep going. And then you're gonna see it coming up on the next scene. You're gonna see this multicolored screen right here. Now, what I like about this screen is is that Samsung, as you can tell, is going to push the colors with their QD OLED technology all the way to the right. You're going to notice that right off the rip. Now, in the middle, the G3, you're going to notice is going to have a lot of color to it, but just more on the natural side. So, like, if you see that table that all those pencils are laying on, you're going to see that the table looks brighter, the reflection looks brighter on the Samsung S95C, and does not like reflect as much as the Samsung S95C does on the G3. So, you know, but what I will say is because of that reason, the G3 looks a lot more detailed. So it looks like you can see the fine grains within that table better. It looks like you can see the fine grains within the wooden part of the pencil tips better on each of the pencils. But the color, obviously, you can't touch. So it's always a toss-up with these two. They're both bright, but obviously when it comes to color volume, the S95C, once again, of course, wins, will always win all the time. With the G2, guys, you're going to notice it's nice and dark. So if you're in a dark room, this would be perfect for you guys. As you can see, the colors still look great. You can't go wrong. The contrast is just beautiful. And, you know, when it comes to even playing video games with a lot of colors, you really can't even go wrong on a G2 either. But if you obviously want more color pop, the most color pop that you can possibly get, yeah, the S95C all day. So we're going to switch it over here now. All right, so this owl scene right here is a famous owl scene. I see all the reviews talking about it. Now, I like this because this owl obviously has that kind of brindle color to it with the yellow eyes. Now, This one to me is the hardest one to say which one I'd rather go for over the other, because it's kind of like the same as the other scene where it was, or the first scene where we were showing all the yellows and oranges. There is definitely more highlight in the S95C. So what I'm trying to say is the white in the owl's fur definitely pops more in the S95C versus the G3 and the G2. But with that being said, though, it does lose a little bit of detail within the other colors. So for example, if you look right on this area, I'm going to pick the camera up because I really want to be specific on this one for you guys. I'm going to pick the camera, so I'm sorry if it's going to go first to the S95C. All right. So you notice how, like, in this area here that I'm talking about is very, very bright, but it's kind of overcasting the details of the other colors. So those are the things that I'm not a fan of right there. That's what I don't like. I like it when it's still bright enough to show you specular highlights, but not bright enough to over brighten and still show you all the details that it's supposed to show you right there. So it's more accurate in the G3. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things that I wanted to really talk about. Those are the little things that I see a lot when it comes to these types of scenarios right there. So as you can see, it go back and forth. There's more detail in the G3. And without a doubt, through the settings, the reason why is because the LG has the settings where you can really get more involved and fine-tune your detail. So sorry for the shaking there, guys. Let me just straighten out my camera. All right. So yeah, so that's what I wanted to show you guys. And you're going to see that all day. You're going to see a lot of specular highlights, even in gaming a lot of times in the S95C. But it's still going to give you more color, that's for sure. But you're not going to see as much detail as you do whether you're gaming or watching content. So it's just that simple, guys. There's no other way around it. You know, they both have great detail. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference if you were just watching them alone. But, you know, that's what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and skip this scene. Here we go. We're going to go to the greens. As you can see, guys, the G2 looks phenomenal all the way to the left. You know, I might look a little oversaturated, even in the G2, or actually all three of them kind of through the camera look oversaturated, but they're not. That's just the camera doing that, because I think you know, one's you know, trying to. I guess I'm looking through the camera right now, and it just seems like the exposure's pretty even, but it's really trying to concentrate on the G3 the most on this one. I'm not sure why. But anyways, what I'm looking at right now is, yes, the S95C in person definitely looks better with the greens. It just does. It's just, you just can't touch it. The G3 in the middle definitely has that pop to it, that detail to it. It looks great. And then obviously the G2 on the left definitely has a lot of detail. I feel like it's losing a little bit of detail compared to the G3, but it's still, you know, pretty much neck and neck. And I think because the G2 is darker, the camera is making it look like the G2 is the most green. But I can tell you, it's, even though it looks like it's the most green, it may look like that through the camera, but it is darker in person. So just want to let you guys know. So now, as we go through, this is a good example here. We got multiple colors. Let me just let it keep going for a little bit. All right, guys. This was like the major one I wanted to show you before I end the video, is these multiple colors here. This is, to me, when the G2 actually all the way to the left just shines. You see how liquid and fluid it looks, and just how immersive it looks on the G2? Like, doesn't it look like just 3D? And then when you go to the G3, it looks actually the same, but because the size of the TV is smaller, you know, it maybe not as immersive for that exact reason. But when you look at the blue on the bottom of these two, and excuse the S95C for a second, because I want to show you just what 1 year and an extra addition to technology can do for a TV between WOLEDs. Now remember, the MLA technology was designed to really filter color and push it, and the brightness and the color more towards the watcher's eyes. It was basically saying that there was lost light. That was the reason why it wasn't as colorful, and that was the reason why it wasn't as bright. And it really shows right here in this picture. So if you look at the blue versus the blue in the G2, you're going to notice that it's a lot more vibrant. Now in the G2, the thing is that where you're going to really appreciate is that that blue area looks like there's more detail, more transparent or more translucent. Now let me tell you guys, although it may look like that, it's because it's a little bit darker. And I can tell you right now that the detail in the LG G3 is definitely there. So now let's say you wanted to fine tune that with these TVs. That's what I like about LGs, is that you can actually fine tune each individual color. So if you wanted the reds a little bit more, the luminance and the reds a little bit higher, you can do that. And then if you wanted to also bring down the blue luminance or the brightness of the color, or the saturation of the color of a particular color, you can individually bring those down, which you cannot do that in the S95C. It's kind of like you get what you get, and the only operation you have to manipulate color is overall color with the S95C. So I just feel like it's lacking in that department. I feel like the A95L that's coming soon is going to be the only TV with the QD OLED technology where you can really get involved and customize your settings a lot better, just like you were able to in the A95K. And then now with the A95L coming out, they're going to come out with a dedicated game menu, which I'm excited to see. But let's see what that input lag, if there's any input lag improvements with the Sony. I just feel like they should really dedicate themselves to gaming when it comes to that, from input lag and things like that. So anyways, on the S95C, what you're going to notice again is the colors you just can't beat. You're going to see it's weird. It's like the left is the darkest, the G3 in the middle is the second brightest, and then when you get, especially when you're looking at the blues, the blue in the S95C probably looks the best as far as color goes. All the colors actually. Now, when it comes to detail, I would definitely say the G3 is still there. It's still better. It still has that 3D pop. But the S95C is darn close, guys. The details in this particular image right here, so close. But there's just little things like that might look a little bit blurry in this particular scene on the S95C. And I'm going to show you, do my close-up, and then I'm going to let you guys go after this. But we're going to bring it to the S95C first. All right, so this area here, I noticed right here. So that area right there does look detailed, right? But then I'm going to go to the LG, and then you can just see, look at that, guys. Look at the detail. Look how 3D, look how immersive that looks on the G3. Just like, doesn't it look like you literally can just grab it with your hands, even looking at it through the camera? Like, it's a different level, guys. It really, really is. It's something that you just can't beat, you know? And I can't ever sacrifice that just for more color. I can't. And that's why I got all three of them. So, you know, there's times where I really want more and more color, and that's why I got the S95C. but I am one of those people who is in love with detail when it comes to purchasing these TVs, especially when you're at this level. So, you know, I don't want to bore you guys. I wanted to keep this at about half an hour, tops 35 minutes. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. I want to thank everybody again for all your support. Thank you for all the new subscribers. Guys, the numbers have been climbing seriously fast. So thank you so much. And I'm going to come out with another video. I will do more gaming. I know that's the most popular request for most of my viewers. But what I want to do is another 4K demo in movies in HDR in certain. So if you guys have any suggestions as far as what movies you would like for me to demo, please, I'm all ears. Let me know. But at the end of the day, guys, I do this all for you. I want to just share my experience with these TVs. That's what I do. And, you know, if you guys have any questions or any opinions or anything like that, please put them in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell, because I'm always coming out with more content all the time. And, you know, that's what we do, guys. So thank you. And to all the people who say thank you for, you know, helping me make my purchase, or helping me decide which TV I'm going to purchase and things like that. I really appreciate it, guys. I love talking to you guys. And also keep me up to date with what your thoughts are. You know, was it all you expected it to be? Were you disappointed with it and you're exchanging it for another TV? What didn't you like? What do you like? Things like that. And what are your settings? What do you game mostly? And, you know, that I'd like to just have conversations with that. And I apologize for the people who comment through YouTube Studio. For some reason, I'm not getting those notifications. So if it's taking me longer to respond through that, then that's why, because I'm not seeing those notifications. I'm seeing the notifications come through my regular YouTube channel, but not through the Studio app. So for some reason, I don't know why that's happening. I thought I had it set up for both, but I'm trying to do my best to get to all of them, guys. So thank you so much. And as you already know, I'll see you on the next one.